watched this YouTube video and this is my reaction. By the way, thank you, Ronan. You are my hero. You are absolutely my hero, and you saved. You have no idea what you did. Ronan, I don't know you, I've never met you, but you are brave and you have no idea what you have done to the society. You have encouraged women in general. You have definitely changed my life, and you have changed billions of women's lives. Thank you so much. Thank you. You have no idea what you have done. And we need more men like Ronan and Seth MacFarlane, are real men. Okay? Those are real men. And there are still a lot of men out there who wanna bash and say a lot of bad things to the actual rape accusation, rape reporter, to the actual victims, because of the society we are living. It's still they have a bias on the actual rape victims and child pedophilia victims in general. So yeah, this is my reaction.
Survivors of sexual abuse. Why did it happen now? As you know better than anybody, more than a decade ago, Canaletta tried to write about Harvey Weinstein specifically, and he wrote a pretty tough piece, but we couldn't get to the core of it, where women are concerned, because, quite frankly, sources weren't ready to come forward. I'm sure many reporters tried to get at what they either knew or suspected was the case outside of Hollywood as well, on the factory floor. Why did this happen in 2017, 2018?
You're absolutely... You know why? Because, let me just put this way, when the whole things happened, well, I was raped when I was 18-year-old, right after high school graduation, by a middle-aged guy, a black guy. His name is Frederick Morris from Positive Production. I was raped right next to my friend's face. My friend was 17, I was 18. We are both kids, And people say, why now? Why now? Because you are not victims, so you have no idea how women go through. And I was not even a woman when I was raped. So let's say if you're a teenage girl, or if you were a little girl when you were first raped, it's really difficult for you to process in your head, because you have to go through trauma, physical pain, to mental pain, to spiritual pain, and it's embarrassing to come out, because the society is gonna slut shame you. And even I was a virgin when I was raped, and I did not know how men could turn to be. Because if you're a virgin, you're pretty much, innocent and airheaded. You have no idea about how a man could turn to be like a wolf. You have no idea. You're pretty much innocent in your head, like a child. You're pretty much a little kid, 18, 17, that's a kid, And so, and you still have a future. you still think about a lot of things. Like, let's say if you're a grown woman, you also have to think about career, and you have to pay the bills. And what if sexual offender was your boss? And what if your boss is threatening you? If you make an accusation, I'm gonna fire you. Or, it could be anything. Like, let's say if you're a single mother with 3 children, you have to pay bills to support your family. And what if your boss is the actual sexual offender? Or it could be any situation. But I think, for me, it was like I was a child when I was raped. And I didn't want my parents to know that. My parents still do not know that I was raped, virgin. Because I didn't want my parents to know that. Because I didn't want to put my parents to go through the pain that I have been dealing with for last 2 decades. And it's humiliating, embarrassing to come out. Nobody wants to be famous for being the rape victim. I mean, who wants to be in a position? It's embarrassing. And this is not just a woman issue. It could be man-to-man situation. If you're a man and if you are raped by another man, it would be much more harder to come out than a woman being raped by a man because of humiliation, embarrassing. And remember, there is a hip-hop R&B group called B2K. Raz B, one of the singers, was raped when he was a kid. And he was crying, talking about how he was forced to have sex with someone, and he's not, he was bleeding from his anus because he was forced to have sex with a male child predator, sexual offender. And so even for a guy, it took years for him to come out, And so imagine if that was a girl, and if that was a little girl, it would be very difficult for her to process in her head, especially if you're still a young teenage girl. You have to apply for college, and you gotta go through all this stuff, And if you're still a high school student, you don't want to be famous for being a rape victim. Does that make sense? And back then, they didn't have Twitter. Like when I was first raped, there were no Facebook, there were no Twitter, there were no YouTube. There were no technology like we have today. So, for today's generations, it's much easier for women to come out because of the internet. So I want to thank YouTube. I want to thank Google. I want to thank all the, high-tech, computer engineer or whatever, whoever, who have invented technology. I want to thank you guys for making women to, it's much easier for today's generation's women to come out because of the internet. Yeah.
absolutely right. Canaletta did wonderful work. David Carr did wonderful work. Janice Min, the longtime editor of The Hollywood Reporter, described this as a white whale of journalism. People were circling this, and I do think the landscape changed. Much as I would love to take credit for this, I think it was overdetermined in a way. Cosby's accusers coming forward. Honestly, my sister coming forward at a time when that message was not well received, with an allegation of abuse against a powerful guy.
By the way, when Ronan's sister came up, I was a big supporter. I even told all my friends about it, and I totally believed her story because, if you're a rape victim, you do understand the struggle. You do understand how it is difficult for a girl to come out, and if her situation is much complicated because it's coming from her own father, and I don't understand the reason how so many people were bashing her, because first of all, she was making accusation for what? There is such a negative connotation if you actually come out. There's no positivity. So why did she have to humiliate herself to come out her personal situation like that? Because it's true. Yet the society slut-shamed her and called her a liar. So I was pretty much heartbroken for her. Because I do understand